Hello, friends. Jai Hind. It's my indeed proud pleasure and honor to be in conversation with a general who I personally look up to. For me, with the moment you mentioned the word general, well, the name that comes to my mind at least is none other than Lieutenant General K.S. Jamwal. Wow, I can't tell you, it's an honor, it's a dream to be in conversation with a general who I have admired the most. Yes, I would say the most.
Thank
Let
you
me
so
tell
much.
you,
Thank you. I'm
sir,
humbled. I'm humbled.
sir, sir.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sir was our army commander in the East. He was the GOC-in-C Eastern Command when I was with the Assam Rifles in Nagaland. And of course, I'm in Sir's command. People swear by it. Well, he's been the colonel commandant of the regiment of artillery. That's the regiment that I am from. And he, let me tell you, something very, very interesting. The three brothers. Have you heard of three brothers? All three generals. All three generals, and of course, they feature in the Limca Book of Records. Well, there is so much to
It
talk about
has
General
now become
Jamwal.
it has now become world record.
World record now. It's become world record now. Wow, sir, that is amazing. So
God has been
there's so
kind.
much.
God has been kind.
Thank you, sir. There's so much to speak about General Jamwal. There's so much, and trust me, this is a moment I had been waiting on for like a real long time. It's been a dream to be in conversation with General Jamwal. There's so much, but we will disclose that subsequently over the course of the conversation. Sir, thank you very much for taking our time, sir. Jain, sir.
Jai Hind Ali, thank you so much. It's a pleasure seeing you and speaking to you. And I still vividly remember your wonderful performance in the eastern sector, northeastern sector, when I was army commander. And you very deservedly got a commendation card. And hats off to your father. He sent you in the army and to groom you, train you. And I hold him in a great respect, I must tell you. He is a wonderful professional and a man of great principles and values.
Thank you,
So
sir. Really.
I am at your disposal. Should I? Uh, my journey started in long back in Jammu. I studied in Jammu in a good school, but not a great school. Uh, then, fortunately, I was very good in studies. I got the second position in JNK University. And but my father, traditionally, we are a family of soldiers. All my father was the in bodyguard cavalry, and he is also privileged chap to give the first salute to the president of India on the first Republic Day. Uh, on in 1950, his horse contingent was leading, and he was the squadron commander.
Sir. So I too had the honor of saluting the President of India on 26
No,
January.
one sec.
Yeah,
The
sir.
screen has gone off. I
Sir.
don't know why.
No worries, sir. No, sir. Can you see me, sir? I can see you, but
You can see me.
I can see you, sir. Clearly, sir.
Surprisingly, I am not seeing you. One second.
Sir,
Uh,
sir,
One second. Let me. Yeah. I don't know what happened.
sir.
So, should I
Yes, sir. Please,
repeat?
sir.
Or
Please continue. Sir, please
I
continue.
was saying that my father was privileged to give the first salute to the President of India uh, in 1950, First Republic Day, and his horse contingent was the leading, and he was the squadron commander. So it's a great history, and all of us, notwithstanding, I was good in academics. I joined the army because we are a family of soldiers. All four brothers joined the army, and father was in the army, and my sister married to an army officer. And fortunately, with his grooming, I have great regards for my father. He groomed us. I tell you that when he went to Vaishno Devi once, see the sacrifice. He says, God, you may not give me anything, but मेरे बच्चों को जरूर ध्यान रखना उनको तरक्की देना. And his training, discipline, his meticulous integrity, all those things we imbibed. And I fortunately passed out with sword of honor and two gold medals and two silver medals, which was a sort of record that time. God has given much more than what I expected. It is, I have a great uh, belief in God and God's strength. And we joined, and fortunately, my father's prayers worked out, and we all did very well in the army, as you brought out. We got all three brothers were serving as generals at the same time, serving as generals at the same time, and created a record. My sister also, her husband also retired as a general, so we have four generals in the family. Then I, after my initial grooming in the regiment, I joined the Air OP, good old days flying. I was one of the reasons of my joining artillery was that I was keen to do Air OP,
That's a
and
cap you're wearing,
fortunately,
sir. The army aviation cap.
yeah, that's army aviation. I have a great affinity. Frankly speaking, I've been colonel commandant of uh, army aviation and artillery, but I took greater pride in being the colonel commandant of army aviation than artillery. I'll tell you why. I used to tell the chief also at that time that in artillery you have eight colonel commandants. Senior most is was the chief that time, while army aviation has one colonel commandant, and army aviation is all over. And whenever I used to fly in the army aviation chopper, which I did as an army commander a lot, I used to feel so happy as if I'm flying with my family friends. And it is all over. So I went all over, and so God has been kind. And I was colonel commandant for a long time in the aviation and did a lot for the aviation. And fortunately, I'm still remembered. I created the Army Aviation Transit Facility in Delhi. I don't know whether you've seen it.
Of
Must
course,
see
sir.
it
Very much.
sometime.
I've
Okay,
seen it, sir.
must.
I've seen it.
Which was held up for last 30 years because everybody wanted a mess, officers' mess. But then I used my strategy. Since I was Army Command Training Command first, they also have a transit facility in Delhi. And then I was ADG SD. So I used my equipment and I didn't go off, ask for the mess. I said, we want transit facility, which is a change of nomenclature only. And we have a beautiful working area, and it's a pleasure. And uh, one was happy that one could contribute a lot to the army aviation and artillery also. So after I fortunately I got into the general cadre, commanding an infantry brigade, and frankly speaking, command of infantry brigade has been the most challenging experience or innings in my life. I had all along served in the mountains before that. Unit was in mountains, G3 or BM in mountain brigade, G1 ops in mountain brigade, Colonel GS of mountain division. And suddenly as general cadre, I was sent as a brigade, infantry brigade commander in semi-desert terrain. And a lot of things to add, but suffice to say, initially it's difficult for a artillery officer to be accepted by infantry as their commander. But time was very soon when they said, "Thank God, we have an artillery chap as our commander, not an infantry." It is a fact.
Sir.
Long story, of course.
Sir.
God was kind. I adapted to the new environment with a lot of challenges. We had a dev test exercise after 2 months. I had only one unit of mine. Two were to be given from other brigades. My two rear parties were there, and advanced parties had come, and main parties had not come. So anyway, God was kind. Some timely decisions, timely selection of units. Uh, we performed very well, and it was complimented by Jan Shankar Rai Chaudhary, the army chief that time. So that made my day, and I went for National Defense College. After that, I was posted as BJS Ops Northern Command. Northern Command was very challenging. I think the toughest staff tenure I've had was, or challenging tenure I've had, was Northern Command. The Kargil Wall, first year the things were building up. Second year, it actually happened, the Kargil War. And I remember sleeping in the operations room, which was underground ops room of vintage, which didn't have proper ventilation. Also, we used to sleep day and night there with top secret flash messages coming, and it was a challenging tenure. I traveled with all VIPs who came to visit because MGGS was holding the fort, and he sent me, "You company, the army commander, you come to the chief, you come to the defense minister, whenever he comes." So it was very challenging. I've seen the shells going whizzing past our helicopter a few times, and uh, fortunately, as you know, we very quickly sent the Pakis rolling back, and I was awarded Ati Vishesh Seva Medal for my good work. After that, commanded the Desert Division, 12 Division. A great feeling. Unfortunately, after that, I later on commanded 12 Corps, the Desert Corps. So I'm in a bit of a desert experienced chap, desert expertise. So I could do a lot for the Desert Corps because I had an earlier experience of Desert Division. And fortunately, after that, I was sent as Army Commander, Army Training Command, which is again very challenging. You all category A establishments, 32 of them are directly under Army Training Command, encompassing the complete India. So we used to be visiting, flying, and my wife, being a very sturdy and a enthusiastic lady, she accompanied me everywhere, everywhere. As a result, she complains sometimes when she is slightly hard of hearing now. She says all those helicopter and other rides disturbed my ear membranes. So, but she made sure she accompanied me everywhere, which was of great strength to the army families wherever I went, and to me also. Thereafter, God was kind. I was posted to Eastern Command and had a very challenging tenure in the Eastern Command. And before that, I forgot. As a full colonel, I went for UN peacekeeping force in Angola. A very, very bloody mission. I went for 9 months, came back more than 2 years, because
Oh,
when we went, there was a peace negotiation and elections to be held. But after some times, again, we were back to the worst situation. The civil war broke out, and it is with the credit of Indian Army that, excepting Indian Army, all other contingents of most of the contingents, rather 90%, 95% of the world left because of unsafe situations. Emergency evacuation. These chaps are very, very precious. Their lives are very precious. We are used to our way of life, and we dug in our heels and we carried on till the end. So uh, I went as a chief of staff of the mission. Later on, became regional commander. Later on, became deputy chief of the mission, and for 6 months, I officiated as as the head of the mission, United Nations Angola Verification Mission. And again, uh, not to boast, the UN won't, and the commander won't leave me. They became so fond of me because I could work both with the whites and the blacks very well. And that diplomacy, I was called a soldier diplomat. And with great, and Indian Army got after me. Why are you coming? Send him forthwith. They used to joke, can't the Indian Army spare one full colonel out of such a great army and big army? But anyway, finally I gave my unwillingness, and since my career was at stake, I came back. And one thing, and I was awarded Post Commander's Commendation Card also. And one thing I must share, Indian Army, I've seen it with the other armies, is one of the best professional armies of the world. Let's have no doubts about it. We had so many armies in UN contingent. Indian Army stood out for its work ethos, sincerity, dedication, and hard work. While so, this is a great thing we found, and That is why we are the most sought after. And as you are aware, we are in the peacekeeping, one of the leading countries and leading contributors. So, Eastern Command was a very challenging environment. I think, it's one of the seven international borders. Indian military training team in Imtrad was also part of us. We were responsible for the defense of Bhutan. It was our Assam rifle was under us for operational control. And Myanmar, we had very close relations because neighboring. So I found, and on top of that, I was Colonel Commandant of Army Aviation and Artillery. So I had my hands full during the command, and fortunately, uh, everything went off well, and I got Parameshwar Seva Medal, and I then uh, left and came back to a beautiful hill station called Yol Kent, Dharamshala. So we are well settled here with my wife. My children are away. They're well settled, married. So God has been kind. One thing I must share in my life, I have found the strength of God and some divine force guiding me, pushing me in the right direction, and giving me strength. So I'm a very, that we're spiritual man and deeply indebted to God for whatever I've achieved.
Sir. So
Yeah.
you are a role model for many people, for who are serving, who are not serving, youngsters who aspire to join the army. So you will not believe if I tell you, youngsters who are appearing for SSB, who are going for SSB, they take advice from me and they ask me, they say, "Sir, do you know General Jamwal?" So I'm like, "Of course." I mean, he's a father figure to me, and and I might sound a bit biased, so be it. I don't know, but sir, if you are the not just the general only, but the most my favorite human being, sir. I would say I would call you.
I tend to agree. The one of the qualities which have helped me go up in the ladder, I humbly say that my human relations, human management, uh, be it seniors, be it juniors, be it colleagues, has been very good. I've been genuinely involved in my command. I loved them as my family. I looked after them like my family. I had a special bond with them. And I never bothered in my life about the next rank or this thing. Swear, I swear. So God takes care if you do your work sincerely, uh, as it is, I firmly believe, in your hand is karma, action. Fruit is in God's hands. Sometimes He gives, sometimes less, sometimes more, sometimes late. But all in your hands is your right karmas. This I've experienced in my life. Yeah.
Sir,
And another thing which I found very useful, fortunately, since I commanded Army Training Command, used to visit all the training centers commanded by lieutenant generals. All training centers, be it CME, School of Artillery, MGME, Ordnance, AMC, all are commanded by senior most lieutenant generals. And they later on become DGs. And I had an interaction with all kinds of services. You're getting a point.
yes, sir.
So wherever I went, one thing I strongly believed in communicating with the command. You must communicate with the command, not too less and not too much. But communication is a must. And fortunately, I communicated, and later on in my life, all those chaps who had heard me wherever, EME, whatever, wherever, they said, "Oh, sir, we saw you this. We saw." So it is great bonding. No wonder. Wherever I went, gave a lot of motivating lectures, and this is how still people remember. I went to staff college. I remember to give a lecture, and all those students. It was very rarely they let you exceed the time, and they gave the special permission. I carried on and question answer kept on pouring, and we carried on. It was such an engaging thing with foreign countries
Boring to
also.
sir. Boring to I mean, the student
And
officers must have been.
later on, those students meet me. They say, "Sir, you gave us that lecture in." as staff college. So I went as I had earlier experience as a BS staff college also as an instructor.
So on the lighter note, when just now when your screen shook a bit, I hope you can see the screen but now, sir. I hope you can see me.
I can see you very clearly. In between this thing goes off. I don't know why. Huh?
Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
बीच में जब screen हिला था हल्का सा, so I felt
Huh.
I'm in a chopper and there's some turbulence
No,
going
no,
on, sir.
no. You're looking as bright as ever, and it's been a pleasure speaking to you. And
Sir,
anytime, most welcome. And my open invitation for you to visit the beautiful hill station of Dharamshala.
thank you,
Yeah.
sir. So, tell me, as they say, behind every successful man, there's a woman, there's a lady behind that. And of course, the contribution of Mrs. Jamwal, I mean, one of the most elegant and one of the most gracious and graceful ladies I've ever met, I've seen, and so humble, down to earth, and amazing lady, sir. So I remember the visit when you as army commander had visited Kohima, and Mrs. Jambal had come and Bhavna had come as well. And I remember taking the ladies out for shopping and showing them Kida Market and showing them the other places over there as well. And so let's talk about sir, the contribution of Mrs. Jambal in your life, sir.
Yeah, the Mrs. Jamal's contribution has is so immense. Frankly, in my speeches, I used to say that if I have reached this place, the 50% credit goes to my wife. And she used to shout, no, 60%. She, as I told you, she traveled with me everywhere. She was genuinely involved in the welfare of everyone, every lady in the command. And Jawan's wife's, her interaction was so intense. Half the things I used to come to know about the Jawan's problems and all that through her, because Jawans are very hesitant to open up. The chain of command is very long, but the ladies open up. Another trick I used to do in my Sainik Sammelans, Bada Khanas, I used to give one or two large pegs first to the Jawans and then used to visit. So everybody used to open out their heart. You know, you become happy and relaxed. So that was a technique. I have a lot of communication, interpersonal communication, this thing, and my wife helped me a lot and advised me. And fortunately, I do agree that she's a very graceful and even now she looks very graceful and a charming lady. And she's been a great contributor. She's a grandmaster of Reiki, and as a grandmaster of Reiki, she used to give Reiki healing to the terminal patients in RR hospital
Sir,
as a charity. Later on also and during service also. She's a reflexologist. She's a multi-skilled lady, and she has got a lot of go, more than me. Very enthusiastic, and carried her team very well. So that saved me from all the bigger problems which the ladies create.
sir.
Yeah.
Sir, tell me, when was the last time you flew an aircraft? You piloted an aircraft last time, sir.
Yeah, it was in 75.
Okay.
Before I went for the long range staff course, what has happened that in artillery, you go to the aviation aerope. If you stay for too long, then you carry carry on in the aviation. But if you want to do better in life, then probably you sidestep. And I was in the artillery stream later on, general cadre, so that's why probably I rose to an army commander. Uh, but I stayed I flew in 75 last.
Sir,
Last.
sir,
I've flown
sir,
during night and day both, solo also, number of times. And
sir, tell me one thing. As an army commander, you get the privilege of now because the lady wife is doing so much of work with regards to army welfare, the ladies. So even she has a hands full. So you have the privilege of taking your lady wife with you in the aircraft. So कभी आपका उस टाइम पे दिल नहीं किया सर being an aviator yourself that कि मैं भी पायलट करूं जहाज को.
you know, you'll be surprised. The pilots, since I was colonel commander of army aviation, they used to tell me, "Sir, Abhi Badjao, you handle the aircraft a little." So I used to please them. I used to just stay for a while. But then I didn't want to take chance, something. I was slightly out of touch also. So but I got a very nice treatment by my young pilots, being the colonel commandant also. Yeah,
Sir, that is so heartening to know, sir. That's so heartening to know. Sir, how
yeah.
important do you think is the importance of sports in life? Because you are a sportsman yourself. So, what advice would you give to our youngsters about sports, sir?
Yeah, I used to visit a lot of schools, and frankly speaking, I used to tell them that academics is not only, academics is not only, uh, you know, getting degrees and getting first division or second division. It is the overall personality which matters of a person, and sports do build up overall personality of a man. The Battle of Waterloo was won on the playgrounds of Eden. Do you know that? It's a great saying. Those qualities which they imbibe, team spirit, cooperation, this, that, was on the sports ground. And sports keeps you fit, develops camaraderie, and it's essential part of life. And schools must have the sports curriculum.
Sir.
Yeah,
So I was in a similar conversation with General Deepak Kapoor sir, and he was mentioning about the time when he was being relieved as the ADC to that is General Malhotra was the chief at that time, and
yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
I believe you had taken over, sir, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm glad you brought it up. You know something? You know something?
Sir,
I took over as ADC to Army Commander. Then he went as Vice Chief. I went as SO to Vice Chief for 1.5 years. That time SO was a great chap, 77, because only two officers were there with the Vice Chief, MA Major and SO Captain. We used to handle top secret documents as a captain. And then he became Chief. So he said, "You are lucky for me, carry on with me." So I became ADC to Chief for 1 year. Then I was due for promotion. I was a senior chap. So then I got promotion as a major. I became Deputy MA to Chief for 2 years, and then officiated MA for Chief for some time. So God has been very kind. I was with General OP Malhotra in varying tenures for 4 years, 8 months, which is very rare. And impact of his personality, I developed, emulated a lot, and it has helped me in my career.
sir. So
Yeah,
I remember the Regiment of Artillery Union in Devlali. I think it was the year 2010, if I'm not mistaken, when General Malhotra was there, and of course General Deepak Kapoor was there, and even you were there. And
yeah.
you being general officers, you were with General Malhotra, and we as young officers, we were saying, General officer was ADC to General Malhotra, and we were all very, very, what to say, we were like really inspired to hear this, sir. We were like really
General
inspired.
Malhotra has been very one of the few chiefs. His one ADC became Army Chief Deepak Kapoor. Two ADCs became Army commanders, myself and Arun Sani. Arun Sani came as ADC after I became Deputy MA. And then second ADC was Ravi Dastane, who retired as a co-commander. So very
Yes, sir.
rarely you find the ADCs of a army chief doing so well in life. He used to take pride in that. He used to mention also. Yeah.
Very true, sir. General Dastane, as you know, sir, we are from the same unit, same immediate
Oh yeah,
regiment, same
one
unit.
seven zero. I 170.
Sir,
He
sir,
also would have
170.
become army commander, bit of bad luck. So it was
Sir,
very
sir.
rare, very rare actually. A great achievement. I would say we owe a lot to General O.P. Malhotra also. A lot of grooming, a lot of emulation. To stay with a person for 4 years, 8 months, I must tell you, I enjoyed my 4 year, 8 months because he was such a cool, pleasant personality, decisive. I can't explain. I have once and I made a big blunder. He didn't even ask me what happened. His wife was again a great lady who had great influence on him. And do you know something? Wherever opportunity existed, I used to go with his wife and used to send the other ADC with him. Because
Sir,
with the wife, you have all the privileges and you're more relaxed. So I'm just joking. She was such a charming and a nice lady. So was Janopi Malhotra. But with the chief, you have to be on your toes. Yeah.
True, sir. So let's
Yeah,
talk about your brothers and your brother-in-law. All general officers and in uniform at the same time. I think it was the year 2006, if I'm not mistaken, so
yeah, yeah,
2007,
yeah.
when you also are
2006.
serving generals. It's
Yeah,
2006,
yeah.
sir. Serving general at the same time in the uniform. How was the feeling and how was the
The
bonding and association with your brothers at that time?
people used to joke that half the Indian army is being looked after by these two brothers. My brother was GOC 4 Corps and I was GOC 12 Corps. So, and my third brother, of course, was MGME in Southern Command. It was very good. A lot of interconnection. So it was a great feeling. I actually followed my elder brother on every course I followed. BIOS, LGSC, Staff College, Higher Command, NDC. After he's 1 year senior to me, so I followed him after every 1 year. So I learned a lot from him, a lot of briefing. So my brother-in-law was Colonel Commandant of Gadwal Rifles. He is a man of Hazrat Bal fame. When he was a Sabiria commander in Kashmir, Srinagar, Hazrat Bal problem took place. He was the one who resolved the whole thing and great came into big limelight. That was in 92, I think. And he also rose to be a major general, commanded 54 Division, which your father commanded sometime.
Sir.
And he was Colonel Commandant of Gadwal Rifles for 5 years. He is also respected and remembered by Gadwalis till now.
Sir,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is so heartening, sir. That's so heartening. Sir,
yeah.
it's really, I mean, and of course, your brother, Sir General Anuddin Jamwal, when he was Adjutant General, and we used to get really inspired by both of you, sir, in fact. And I've seen how Mrs. Jamwal, sir, ma'am, how
Mm.
her conduct with her sister-in-law, with General Anup Singh Jamwal's
Yeah,
wife, I
yeah,
mean, the same respect of, and we
yeah.
would be like, as young officers, we would be totally enamored. We were like, wow, isko kehte hain
Uh,
संस्कार इसको कहते हैं
we,
that is
we, we,
really
we used to touch their feet in every function,
yes
both of
yes
us. That
yes
is the
sir.
sanskar given by us, given by my parents to us. Yeah. And same we
So
are giving
much.
to our children. Same we are giving to our children. Fortunately, like you have inherited good sanskars from your father and mother, so have children inherit very good sanskars. They follow the example of their parents. There's no doubt about it.
So your children too as well, I must say. I mean, they're so humble, down to earth, so
Very.
grounded, and such wonderful people. I mean, you come from such an illustrious family, sir. I mean, I am totally in awe and totally enamored. Sir, thank you so much for sparing time, sir. I've been wanting to do this for quite some time. And sir, before we part ways, any last message you would like to give out in the universe to our viewers, to youngsters, senior citizens, everyone alike, sir?
It may sound slightly different since I'm a very spiritual man. In my life, I've seen you keep on doing your God given duty. Everyone comes with a given role in this life. Everyone is sent, God sends you, go do this role, and your duty is given. Honor and shame does not arise. Do thy duty, there all the honor lies. Wherever God puts you, you become a role model in that field. Give your best, and rest you leave it to God. It is God who is the giver, and He sometimes gives, depends on various factors. Sometimes gives less, sometimes more, and I think it's gone slightly down. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, sir. We can see you and we can hear you, sir.
It's slightly not very big, but anyway. So you're getting a point.
Sir.
You do your duty to the best of your ability wherever you are, whatever God has placed you in, and rest, leave it to God. He is the giver. This I have seen in my life, experienced in my life. In my life, of course, I've been more than fortunate. God has given. Uh, it may, in some cases, give less, more, late, early. It all depends on your past karmas.
Sir.
Yeah, yeah.
Sir, thank you very much, sir. And before we part ways, I would like to tell you, sir, with you and General, your brother, sir, General Anupam Jamwal, you were very, very inspired as youngsters. And of course, एक चीज है सर, आपकी जो मूछें जो थी, it was always, I grew a similar mustache. Even as a lieutenant, I grew a mustache for that. And even after the army as well. बल्कि मैंने कुछ पिछले फिल्में की हैं सर with that mustache. I'll send you the scene. And
अच्छा,
I would like to part by telling you, sir, this look of yours is like really suiting you, sir. You are looking as
yes.
what do I say? Sir, as grand
I
as
went
ever, sir.
I went through a lot of struggle in maintaining this because it happened during Corona, COVID, that I started keeping the beard because we didn't have to go out, and sometimes I used to become sadhu. Sometimes this. Finally, my wife got fed up. He says, "Yeah, you better straighten it out, otherwise." So finally, I've come. I keep trimming it. I keep trimming it and just managing it. And a lot of people say it looks good, particularly when I flashed it by first look to the on the WhatsApp in the lighter vein. All the young girls on my group, young ladies, said, "Oh, wow, you're looking so smart." But but surprisingly, some gents and some old ladies said, "नहीं नहीं नहीं, तुम पहले अच्छे लगते थे." So I went by the choice of young girls because keeping a beard is a fashion in the youngsters these days, and young girls, frankly, do like that. And
Very well said, sir.
somehow, I though may look old, but I always keep myself as young-hearted chap because age is a number, and God has to be kind. So far, so good. Yeah,
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir, sparing your time. And my regards to your family, sir, to everyone. Thank you very much,
really,
sir. Truly
so
an
sweet
honor.
of you. So sweet of you. It's my honor, my privilege, actually. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
God bless and give my love to the family and to your parents. All the best. God bless.
Sure, sir.
God bless.
Thank you
God
very much,
bless.
sir. Jai Hind,
Thank you.
sir.
Jai Hind.